Ladies and beautiful gents, you know what time it is. It's another beautiful art interview with the one and only host, DJ. We got an awesome special guest that is appearing on my beautiful page, Mwikali Words. How are you doing today?
I am good. All things considered, I'm doing well.
Yes. Well, I see you are doing flowers. You're blooming. You're blooming.
This is the goal. Always grow. Always grow.
There we go.
If you're not perfect, it's okay. Just grow.
There we go. And I'm feeling that. And we're going to get into that beautiful scenery. I'm seeing the whole vibe, flowers and hair and natural things. Today, I am so happy because this is going to be another amazing, uplifting poetry time to end this beautiful National Poetry Month, right? So let me tell the folks how I actually got to know you and really actually see a couple of your work. So I met Miss Mwikali Words on the beautiful page of Amira and James Elderby page when they had when women speak. That was really, really cool. It was not only Mwikali, there was multiple other range from different ranges of backgrounds of such of women, just really going in depth with their, I felt like it was like a moment where everybody just went on their computers and got their mask really ripped off because everybody, including this one right here, was murdering. And I was like, I have to get these folks. It was just so amazing and uplifting and just very spiritual just to see you be part of that project as well. And not only that you have that project that I've seen currently, followed you onto your page and such, and I seen that you also have the upcoming beautiful book. And then on top of that, you had multiple other projects with your jury. I'm like, oh my gosh, this girl is talented. So I'm like, I have to hit her up. And I did. I hit you up off of the Facebook. We had a great chat and we said, yeah, let's do this together and have you represent and put a nice, awesome step to this month of 2021's Poetry National Month. So welcome.
Finally here. Thank you for having me. This is beautiful. I'm so glad to finally be a part of this. I've seen the great work you do working with poets, and it's just really beautiful, I think, because as we're seeing the power of poetry coming more and more to the forefront, I think we're learning that the expression that happens in poetry allows for the potential to like save lives, like allows for the potential to allow people to speak their truth into the world and to be heard. You know, I think we allow more in rhyme than we do in prose sometimes, but you've been able to bring that to the forefront by talking to poets. You know, it's important too. So thank you for what you do. And thanks for reaching out.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, I love that you actually bring that topic. We, as artists, we're all different forms. That's our work. That's our task. We want to use our work as another beautiful, creative way of getting our voice heard. And I know that you probably went through an interesting journey. And I know a lot of people want to know, well, who the heck are you to actually come onto this page and say, I got this amazing voice.
Why? Yes. Introductions. Okay, so my name is Mwikali Words, and I am a spoken word artist. I am a creative consultant. I am a jeweler. I am a multifaceted creative. I enjoy also working with some writing consultations for people who are interested in getting feedback, you know, on the work that they've done and getting some guidance sometimes on, you know, I don't want to change my work, but I want to have an understanding of, could it be better, you know, or do you see what I see, you know? So all of those things that have been part of who I am and part of my journey. And I think, it definitely started with, and I don't know if this is common because I feel like I've heard a couple people say something similar, but, it started with an assignment. A teacher asked, hey, for homework tonight, we're going to write a poem, oh, and are there any like specific rules for how this goes? And there weren't. And I was like, oh, then I loved it even more because it's my jazz. I enjoy it. I think we should have more of it, and in more ways than one. But nonetheless, so I wrote this poem, and when I saw the reactions of like classmates and the teacher, I was like, you felt something. I wrote a thing and you felt a thing. Like, that to me was like, what greater magic trick can you do? Like, aha, like you I did a thing to your heart space. Ooh. I think that's definitely, part of what felt profound for me, because I think it was important to me to know that I could do something that could be bigger than I thought it was.
Yeah.
And that's the first time I think I had really fully felt that in an aware sort of way, and I was 12. And then it was just like, okay, teenage years are happening and everything is very emotional, and, and so being just in a space of, I need to be able to be heard, and I think when we come up with a culture where a lot of times we see it praised to say, a child should stay in a child's place. So like, you don't need to be speaking. I shouldn't hear you. Like, you're a kid, this kind of mentality, even if it wasn't said, there was a sense that you had a certain amount of things you could say. Types of things you could say. Right. And so with those limitations, it felt like this, closing in on me. And I think I was just talking to somebody the other day about like the first time I really felt like freedom mattered. Right. The first time I felt like freedom mattered, I think I was 8, and I was attending a Broadway play, Sarafina. It was happening before it came out in the movies and all that jazz, and it was on Broadway. And I remember watching and just being fascinated to watch like these students who were young people, and they were full of life and song. And then you saw this force of people who, it's like, where do you get the right to come and decide that these kids don't get to learn about themselves, and that these kids don't to express themselves as fully as they want to. And so you're seeing like the smoke in the air from the gunpowder and stuff. And I'm like, I'm watching this, and I'm like watching, in spite of all that, these students still feel like I'm going to voice this thing for this thing. And it was like, I was like, after that, I would be at home and I would listen to the soundtrack over and over and be, freedom is coming to love. Like that was my thing. Like I was like, because I was just, I was flabbergasted that there could exist such a reality in a world, some like this group of people so bright and so full of magic. Like their singing was like earth shattering. Like how could you you would want to put this in a cage? You would want to stop this? And I think I was feeling a lot for an 8-year-old. I think an 8, 9-year-old. I don't remember. It was like 8 or 9. But it was a good thing to feel, because it made me more aware of that desire. And so writing, being able to write as a poet, I think was like, here I'm free. I write, if I don't feel free in other spaces, when I write, I feel so free, because I can say whatever I want to the page. I can tell the page, all of the things that are hard, all of the things that are, seemingly unchangeable. Change them and speak myself into my own freedom, seen it happen. Like I've seen myself in spaces where I've had to write myself out of a cage and find
Wow.
myself to freedom, and it feels good. And so I couldn't stop, you know, because it was like I want other people to feel this too.
Yeah, and that's like, and I like that I do like you saying, you know, giving us an image of how you felt at a young age, feeling caged. Like I feel like that's just all of us. In some point in our lives, we've been in a time period, or we've been in a cage and then end up going to another cage. You know, that something too that we as a people, and I could more so speak for myself, but I've seen multiple people be into that, you know, place.
Right.
And I consider, for me, I don't know for you, but I realized that cage is comfort.
Yeah.
We get so comfortable with the same thing, with not taking a risk. And I'm saying this because that is me.
right. But that's how it goes. That's how it goes.
Yeah. And like, what inspired you and motivated you to say, you know what? I don't want to be in nobody cage. I don't want to be in any type of cage. I just want to fly. Like, what inspired you to say, I gotta fly?
Right. Well, I think, you know, like I said, definitely that. And then like after experiencing, you know, Sarafina on stage like that, and you know, realizing like freedom mattered, and then being 12 and being like, oh, this writing can move people. And then, you know, being in a space where during a lot of my teenage years, like I would read books about slavery, and I would read books about like the history of just America's tradition of oppression, unfortunately. But it would make me think like freedom was always on my mind. Like it was just like, you gotta get to freedom. Like the thought of like getting to freedom was so ingrained in me, I think, that it was just like, it was inescapable. It's like freedom was like chasing me, you know what I mean? At a certain point where it was like, even in those spaces where, like you said, we could feel really safe. And I'm actually really glad you said, I was just having a conversation with my sister. You know, today has been an interesting day. My sister came up from out of town, and we were talking about how like I like to journal, right? And I was saying that I wrote a journal where I was trying to discover something in myself, because while I freedom is chasing me and I'm chasing freedom, we don't always, you know, it's like sometimes miss paths. The stuff in the way and the detractors, you know, of the things that feel safe.
Yeah.
But it is a cage, like you said, like, you know, and so I looked up this word safe, right? And I was like, what does safe really mean? Because I realized, as much as I'm obsessed with freedom, and the idea of it, the idea of flying, the idea of like just being able to go, right? As much as that's in the mind, I also came up from a space where the most wonderful thing you could do for yourself would be to be safe. The most successful thing you could do was to have, you know, the type of job that ensures your security, to have the proper path of life, and your home and your, you know, the right way. Okay. And you'll be safe. Safe. It'll be good for you. Right. And so constant battle. I thought about, so then I had to say, okay, well, what does safe mean? I looked up the word and I wrote down every definition for it. And I wrote down every synonym, every antonym, and I looked at the words. And I was like, wow, like there are positive sides of this safety thing. And there are some really, really problematic sides of this safety thing. Right? Because safe is protected. Safe means you are protected, but it also means not taking risk.
Yeah.
It also means, you know, safe as in you go to the bank, right?
Mm-hmm.
In a safe,
Mm-hmm.
right? When you look at the safe keeps your valuables locked
Mm-hmm.
inside.
Mm.
Thing, right? Because now nobody can steal it,
Mm-hmm.
but nobody can see it either.
Nobody see it. Yeah.
So sometimes in the effort to be safe, you don't get to see my treasure because it ain't safe.
It ain't safe.
It ain't
Yeah.
safe, it ain't safe, it ain't safe, right? Like, no, because if you know about me, how do I know you will be kind to my heart?
Mm-hmm.
How do you know you will be
Wow.
you will be gentle with your knowledge of me?
Ooh, man, you're giving me chills right now.
Right? How do I know if I leave this safe job? How do I know that I won't fall flat on my face trying to do this freedom thing?
Come on.
Freedom comes with responsibility, right? One of my like favorite series of movies to watch is like the Spider-Man series, right? I'm a lover of Spider-Man, so I thought about Into the Spider-Verse, right?
Yeah.
I watched that a couple times, I must admit, and blew my mind because themes of freedom all over the place, right?
Mm-hmm.
Without giving spoilers, but the idea always kind of being like, you don't know the full potential of your power though until you leap, until you take the jump where you're like, I believe I could maybe do this enough, maybe just enough to go, to try. Like, think about if you never tried to take the first step as a baby. If you fell as a baby and you were ridiculed because you're like, why don't you walk? 3-year-old, like, or not 3-year-old, but like 1-year-old, you should already be walking by now. What's wrong with you? Like, no, we don't do that. We celebrate the very first step.
Yeah.
We get grown and we forget that.
Yeah.
Right? We go out in this world and we do amazing things just sometimes by waking up. And deciding that we will do something. Because some days you feel like doing nothing. So on the days that you wake up and you do a thing, right? It's worth celebrating, but we forget.
We do.
We forget to applaud ourselves for those steps. We don't do what we do for the babies. Oh my gosh, you did it. Look at you. You took the step. We don't do that to ourselves.
We don't do it. Nope.
So I started to learn to celebrate myself. I started to learn to write these, these pieces that would allow me to both feel, to see myself, that would allow me to study myself. We study for years these other things. Right? For years. Like, but are we paying attention to who we are? Do we get with ourselves and be like, hey girl, so what you doing? How you feel? Why do you feel that way? You know what I mean? We forget to do that. And so more recently I started these journals, and every time I journal, I start with gratitude. I try to start with gratitude. There's some days where it's like I'm hurting or I'm like feeling something so great that I have to start with just whatever that is. But most of the journals that I have in my chesty journal, most of my journal entries start with I'm grateful. Today I'm grateful, and I think about what I'm grateful for first. And then I write about what else is on your mind. What are you concerned about? What are your hopes? What are your intentions? And sometimes it becomes a poem. you know? Yeah. Yes. I don't know if I answered your question. I hope I did. I feel like
you answered it perfectly. You answered it perfectly because the reason, I never really thought of that. And that actually made me actually think. That's why I actually had a pause, because I was like, I do so much. And I think that's the part. We do so much work because we know we're supposed to be responsible for it.
Right.
And it made me pause because it made me think, where did it go from, yeah, you finally made these steps. You did this, you did that too. Well, it was expected. Like,
Mm,
where did it come to? Like, that's why I paused, because you made me think about that. Like,
yeah.
we go from, good job for having your first steps, or good job, you finally learned how to ride the bike, to
Right. Right.
how did it go from that
Yeah.
to, is it the moment where you finally got your driver's license and it's like, okay, now you're expected to do all of these
Right.
things?
Right. Right.
Or, yay, congratulations, you got your high school diploma. All right, it's expected for you to go to college and do
Right.
it and get multiples. Like, oh, you got that job. Good.
Yeah.
Make money, make babies, make life.
Right.
Where did that shift?
Yeah.
Good job for your first step to
Mm,
it be, now it's expected,
yeah.
because it's so weird how it just subliminally transitioned.
Mm-hmm.
On top of that, like, I remember as a kid too being taught being fearless.
Mm-hmm.
Face it, go for it. And then something shifts to where it's like, well, do this, but know that there's consequences. Know that there's this and that. And it's like, where in that gray area did I lose that, like, almost like in a sense of ambition?
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Did
It,
you did you
I
feel like
think,
you were journaling or something like that that made you see it?
yes. Oh man, definitely. I think, the journaling, the writing, like when I write poetry, that really, sometimes it is my journal, right? Sometimes it is a capture of myself. Sometimes it's a capture of what I observe in the world. Sometimes, it may be about an imagined concept, because I'm
Mm.
like, I wonder, right? Those moments.
Mm-hmm.
I think what happens is, when we are children, it is thought cute. It is
Yeah.
adorable that we think we can be an astronaut. It's
Mm-hmm.
adorable that we think we can be a fireman and a musician and an artist, and I'm in a band.
Yeah.
Like, it's adorable. We love it. Yes, be all of the things.
Mm-hmm.
And then we keep repeating life. And so it's like, we find people are less impressed by the things they see over and over, right?
Mm-hmm.
There's a poem, and I don't want to misquote, and I feel I wasn't considering this initially, but I'm thinking about it now that you're saying this. And when I find it, I'll like tag it in this. But there's this guy, and he does this poem on YouTube, and he's spitting this poem about how his parents, or his mother, I think specifically, had told him that if you repeat a thing often enough, right? If you say a thing often enough out loud, it'll start to lose meaning. It'll start to sound like nonsense, right? So it's good. Nonsense, 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 nonsense. Like, it starts to sound.
Yeah.
It doesn't even your own. And it's funny. And then I was researching this word, unheimlich, recently, because I use it often to talk to my students about this concept of the uncanny, Freud's concept of the unheimlich, or the uncanny, this idea that there are some things that we are afraid of because they are familiar but strange at the same time.
Yeah.
Doppelganger, right? For example,
Mhm.
the idea of, something appearing like it shouldn't be here, but it also is familiar,
Yeah.
right? And I think it's like we become so familiar with ourselves in the repetition of a thing. We've been writing so many poems, we're no longer impressed, right? How many times have you heard like an artist, a musician say that they're might be tired of singing an old song, that we love it, but they're maybe start to get sick of it because they've repeated it. They don't remember. Sometimes you start to forget the greatness because you keep hearing it. You keep hearing it. You keep doing it. So we go to work, and after the first day that you went on your first job, I am no longer impressed. Now I need you to get a promotion. Now I need you to get the next thing and the next thing and the next thing. And we're celebrating the getting of things and not the improvement of ourselves.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, and I think that's turning around. I think it's turning around, and it's in the atmosphere, right? We're talking about it a lot more when we talk about mental wellness. We talk about self-improvement, trying to get better. Like, we become more aware of it, and maybe then we do purposefully celebrate. That's what gratitude does. The gratitude is a purpose celebration, because we're taking breaths right now.
Oh yeah,
we're taking breaths right now, right? Like, we're taking breaths right now, and it's like, when was the last time you were impressed by your breath? When was the last time you were like, whoa, my heart's beating? I was talking to my son the other day, and he goes, I was like, how's your day? Like, what's your favorite part of the day? You know? And he goes, every part, Mom, every part. And I was like, really? Wow. Okay. He was like, yeah, because I mean, Mom, like, listen to, like, put your hand right here. Your heart is beating right now. It's like a drum. Yeah. Can you believe it? It's just happening, Mom. And I was like, I love this kid. Like, I love that. Because, you know, we get far away from, like, when they tell you to grow up, sometimes you gotta be like, into what though? Yeah. Specific. Grow up into what? Because sometimes we just growing up out of our dream spaces, out of our, I could be an astronaut, artist, and a boss drummer. Like, we out of I'm gonna be a DJ slash, you know, connoisseur of all things crystals slash maker of journals and writer of books and doer of hair. Like, I'm gonna do all of it. We get told, pick the box. Is it gonna be this one? Is it this one? Who are you? What is your gender? What is your sex? What do you like? What do you not like? Pick a box. Trained to pick a cage. Wow. On a regular basis. We go through an entire, like, education in checking a box, filling a bubble, stay inside of a thing so I know where you are. How will I know whether to praise you or prison you if I don't know what the test scores say? Yup. How do I know? What's the measurement? What's the data say? How do I know that you're brilliant unless the circles and bubbles and squares say it? When do we get to say it? Yup. Say right now. Like, start now if you weren't doing it. Right? Like, start now. Start now. Be the freest thing you could possibly be, because if you don't, then what? Like, instead of because we think about, if we do, what are all the dangers? What will go wrong? We don't think about, if we do, what could go so right. Right. Yep. And then what could go right and then go a little wrong, and then I learn from that wrong. And right. You keep me? Like, I'm just saying. I don't know about you guys, but you sure are talking to me, because that's how I have those moments. I have those moments too, you know? And you know, it's so funny. It is so funny because it could be something so good. And I have that moment. I know everybody. I could probably speak to everybody on this one. That's too good to be true. What do you mean? Right. We speak ourselves out of our own greatness. Like, it can't be because it's lovely. What do you mean? It will totally be because it's and I'm deserving, and I'm about to do the work to get it. So what's the problem? Yeah. What's the problem? It's no problem. But you know what? I think too, it is that we exist in a world that celebrates the safety. Like, you get a reward. If you do things the safe way, you have certain things that will just be guaranteed, right? You know where it's coming from, right? You think about freedom, it's like, when you're free, it's like, now you gotta go. Yeah. you gotta go now. You gotta go do a thing, and now you're responsible for what that looks like.
Mm-hmm.
And nobody else is responsible for it because you're free. And that's scary.
It is.
Right? It can be.
It can be.
Adjust your thinking. I think perspective matters, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like perspective can really like open up worlds, right? Or it can tell you you don't exist.
Mm-hmm.
Right? You could perspective yourself out of an opportunity.
Mm.
Because if your perspective is life always goes like this for me, or life isn't supposed to be easy. Life isn't supposed to be, you do the things you say you wanted to do when you were a kid. You're not supposed to get to do that. All the stories say that's what you think you're going to do when you're a kid. And then you grow up and you go through the things and you get the job and you do do the expectations,
Mm-hmm.
all the rules. But then we see that the people who end up being very successful sometimes, and again, success is based on how you rate it. However, sometimes in the freest spaces, when we think about like the people we admire, think about the people who take on fame, right?
Mm-hmm.
Are like, oh my God, that's my favorite person. I love their music. I love their movies. I have all their CDs. Like, or I guess people don't use CDs. I don't know. I like it. I think it's nice. But we're like, oh my gosh. But like the real thing, really, really, really that we value is like, look at you being yourself, doing your thing how you want to do it. Right? Because at first we're like, oh my gosh, so weird, so strange. I can't believe they did that. But then we're like, yo, they're bold, Joe. You wanted to do it and you did? Gasp. Free thing. Look at you.
Yep.
Free thing. I didn't know. I didn't know you were that free though. Right? Like, and I think too what it is that when people act their freest selves, it tends to get labeled crazy. Right? It gets labeled as problematic, dangerous, unsafe.
Mm-hmm.
And you know what? It's a little piece of truth.
Yeah.
We are dangerous when we are free. Because then nobody can just say, here's where you live, here's where you stay.
Yep.
These are the rules, so you follow them without thinking about whether the rules make sense.
Exactly.
Right? Like, but a free person. Now you playing with the idea in your hand. You're like, let me just take a moment with this thing. It's real, and that's again. I mean, it comes back to me to the journaling piece, to the writing piece, to the poetry, and why it's powerful is because the poetry place allows you to think about your freedom.
Yeah.
How are you expressing it? When do you feel limited from it? When we talk about breakups, when we talk about our dreams, all of these things, it all comes back to the idea of learning ourselves and understanding, like, why do we feel a way that we feel? So when somebody sings a song that feels the way we feel in our heart, we
take a moment with it.
Take a moment. We feel connected. You know me. You sang my heart on that stage, and now I'm okay. I'm okay for right now. I can listen to this song and I'm okay. I could watch this movie and I can feel inspired again. I'm okay. I can hear this poem. And that thing that I thought I couldn't move off of or away from or higher than, I changed my mind. I'm dope and I can do it.
Exactly.
Like, it's like, think about who you free when you are free.
That's true. That's true.
Who do you free by your freedom? You know what I mean? And I'm in a space where I feel like I had to do the hardest thing I've ever done. And it took me years to do it, to say, I'm going to venture out here and do what I want to do in the ways that I want to do it. I'm going to be all of the things I am. I'm going to be a jeweler. I'm going to be a person who writes poetry and writes books of it. And I'm going to be a person that helps save lives through writing. I'm going to sit down and journal with people who want to journal with me. And we're going to get healed and dope and free together. I'm going to, I'm going to do all of it. And I'm going to do it in a bigger way than I could do it in the classroom. And it was the hardest thing to do because that was the safe space.
Mm-hmm.
But it was also the space where I felt very caged, you know, because I knew, some part of me knew, like, this is not it for you. You know, you are not where you are to be.
Mm-hmm.
Every time I tried to fly in a space that didn't fit my wings, it didn't work.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and so what I found is in that space of having to do that, and today being that day, interestingly enough, the same day as this interview, this is my last official day in that space, and it's me venturing out into the world of saying, like, I'm out here, I'm an entrepreneur, I am a writer of free things, and I am behaving in my free ways to model freedom in all the ways that that looks. I am seeking to free other folk who want to feel free and need to get free of mindsets that don't work and don't serve them. I want to be able to help people who want to write their poems, get those things at the optimal level of what they want it to look like all of these things. And what was beautiful is that the people who celebrated me most were my students. Because they said, we're gonna miss you, but this is what you like, this is what you're supposed to do. Yeah, it's like, you know, they were the ones who often would tell me, like, what are you doing here? Why aren't you acting? Why aren't you doing this thing? Why aren't you doing that thing? There's so many things that you're good at. What are you doing? You know, and it was like every person that I spoke to, I was like, this is gonna be too hard to tell them, because what will they say? How will they feel? How will they react? Aren't you a traitor now? Aren't you a traitor? You just left, like, you left the kids behind. But it's not that. It's not true. Telling them all along, go be free. Do your dreams. Don't let anybody tell you silly. You're a class comedian. No, you're a comedian. You got gifts. Go get them. Get to that. You know what I mean? You know, like you're rapping in the classroom, you're disruptive. Nah, you have skills. You have lyrics on deck. Can we talk about these? You know what I'm saying? And so being able to be in a space where I'm like, this is not, you know, a thing where it's like, I'm leaving because you students were difficult. No, this is a thing because I have to show you the thing I told you. I have to show you the thing I told you, because my hope, my genuine hope, is that I can make enough of a difference to be able to give them more than I ever could. Wow. From where I was. You know, I'm trying to give you greatness in the same space, in a valley space. But the thing you need is at the mountaintop, and I'm chilling with you in the valley. And what you need me to do is go to the mountaintop. But I've been sitting here, you know, flapping my wings in the mud space. You know what I'm saying? Flapping my wings in a space where it's like, listen, there is noble things that happen here. Nothing is to be discounted. There are people who were like, had anger issues, who learned about poetry and then they wrote it out and they changed. They changed. I saw it happen. And then I forgot it happened. And somebody had to remind me. They had to say, you took that step. You didn't. I know who this student was before they knew about this poetry thing you were talking about. It's true. And then you showed them and then praised them for what they did, and then they changed. Yeah. Bro, they got better. You get what I'm saying? And it's like hard. It's hard because you're like, you're doing something that it might be frowned upon. It might not be seen as like a favorable thing. But it's like, you gotta know for you though. That's true. For you. And once you know for you, you gonna grow for you. You gonna grow. And it's gonna rain, but there will also be sun. You know? And so it's like, even in this moment, right now, this is like an overcoming moment. Because it's easy to just say, this part I'm not ready for. I'm not ready to give this truth. It's too new. It's too fresh. I'm going to miss too many people to say it on this, you know. But on this day, I buried my cousin. And not buried, celebrated her life. And she left what felt like too early. what felt like too early. But I watched people talk about who she was. Like,
Yeah.
you see, she saved lives. And I was asked to write a poem, and I had a really hard time. I had a really hard time writing the poem because I didn't know what to say. And you know, I felt like, am I close enough to her to be the one to say the words? Do I know enough to say the words? And am I ready to say these words? How do I know what it will do to me when I go up there to say these words? I'm gonna cry. I know myself. I'm a cancer through and through. Like, I will cry my eyeballs out. And I can't do it. And so I was sitting this morning and I was talking to my sister, and I was like, I haven't been able to write this. And I've been able to write a lot, but I wasn't able to write it. And then I was like, stop trying to do it for anybody. Just express how you feel. What you're feeling. Start with the color. Start with the color of the thing. Start with the art. Start with where it's beautiful. And her favorite color was royal blue. And so I started there. And when I wrote the poem,
take your time.
When I wrote the poem, even writing it, like, I cried, and I was like, I don't know how I'm supposed to give this, But I got into that space and I said, I know what I wrote in that piece. And I know that what I wrote in that piece was about what I saw, truly. And I know what I wrote in that piece was what I desire, truly. And what I desired was for us not to have to stay in this space where we are sad about it, or where we remember, like, there was so much beauty there. There was laughter. There was like, we would have dinner at the Thanksgiving table, like official, that whole Sunday dinner, Big Mama table vibe. Like, that was real. Like, my Nana would cook all these pies, and everybody got a pie. Like, everybody got, like, some people got like 2-3 pies. Like,
I know about that. I definitely know about that.
But I was looking for a picture of her to help, like, with something for the program. And as I was looking through, I saw this video, and she's not in the video, but she's laughing, and she's the one taking this video. And her laugh, like, was just like the freest thing, and it wasn't about a perfection. It wasn't about did you meet the deadlines of the things, did you we have all these timelines on ourselves. By this age, you need to have done, by this time, you need to have done, but none of us knows, like, when that's it. None of us. And so it's like, rather than being in a space of fear about it, or being in a space of, like, we got to rush to meet these deadlines, like, just be better each day. Like, yes, plan for more things, but just be better each day. And I wanted people to know, like, it's okay to keep living after this.
Yeah.
In fact, it's important. Like, honor her life by your living. Don't pause it. Don't pause it, because, like, she passed the baton. She was on the track team. Like, she passed the baton. It's your turn. Let's get it. Like, even in terms of, like, this interview, I was like, I don't know if I like when I agreed to it, it was like way before like this would be the same day. But I was like, no, I'm gonna keep this, because I said keep living. I said keep going. I said get your wings. I said follow the example.
Yeah.
Follow the example of freedom. and laughing when it's hard sometimes, and crying sometimes, even when you feel like you shouldn't get to do that. You get to do that.
Yeah.
All of us, regardless. Like, express yourself, feel, allow that. You know, stop judging people. Stop being so quick to judge. Stop. Life is too short for the nonsense. Like, love each other, yo. Like, be kind, because you can.
Mm-hmm.
You're not gonna be perfect, and that's okay. You know, it's okay. It's the most human thing you could be. But are you learning? You know, are you growing? Are you really trying to do the least harm? You know what I mean? Like, are you really trying to do your best by yourself and by your community in ways that's not about, you know, did I hear it? Did I see it? Does everybody know? Is it on my resume? But do you know for yourself? Took a moment and you said a kind word to somebody. Even if somebody was just yourself.
Yeah.
Somebody was like a person that you don't understand fully.
Mm-hmm.
You know? Are we trying though? Like, are we trying to learn? Are we trying to understand? Are we doing it? Are we doing it? Are we going for all of it?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, do we get free to not be free? Like, and we out here just caging ourselves right back up? Like, I don't know about that free thing. Let me get that cage door back real quick.
Mm-hmm.
I know when my meals are coming. I know, you know, I know how it's gonna go based on what everybody has said, the set plan. Nah.
No.
Like, and listen, and I don't want to say that there's anything wrong with having a plan. There's nothing wrong with having a plan. There's nothing wrong with wanting to know, to have some sense of knowledge that something is going to be okay.
Mm-hmm.
That, like, certain things I know that will allow me to have certain other things, right? Like, we don't want to discount that. That would be unfair, right? That would be reasonable. However, I do encourage people to just take more time to consider what your freedom looks like.
Mm-hmm.
Take time to consider, how do I give myself the kind of spa days that teach me something, right? Like, journal spa, spa for your mind space, your heart space, you know? Like, watch a funny thing, like, and because sometimes it ain't even as serious as, like, you gotta be making a profound change right now in this moment. You know, like, listen, right now the profound thing might be to take a nap. Like, go take a nap. Be nicer to people, and everyone will feel better about your existence. Like, have a Snickers, you know, like, all of the things. Do the things that make you happy and let you grow. I don't know. But, you know, it'll help.
Took me out on that one.
Like, yeah, but I mean it though, because, like, I really put that pressure on myself. Like, did you change a thing? Is the world better because of you right now, in this very moment? You know, like, did I say enough things to the people to let them know I love you, you're okay, you're fine, you're okay over here, everybody fine, everybody okay, you all good? Like, you know, you try to be the hostess for the world, and it's like, chill on that too. Like, boundaries, you know what you're capable of, pour from a full space instead of an empty one. Like, it's gonna be all right. We're gonna be all right.
It's all right, you know, and you know, definitely I gotta tell the people to follow your page, because it's not like, number one, follow this chick's page.
Yeah.
Over here, you get to also see a couple of her beautiful jewels.
Yes.
Look at them jewels.
Some things, some blankage. Yes. Sometimes we do a thing.
Talk about slaying, okay?
On occasion, yes.
What I really truly enjoy about you, and you know, once again, you guys follow her page, her website right here too, if you want to get her book or a couple of pieces of awesome jewels.
No.
by yourself, But what's really insightful about you is that, like you said, it was your art that helped the self-discovery.
Yeah.
And you are definitely going to share us one of your most awesome and authentic pieces.
Yeah.
I can't wait for you to perform right now. I mean, which is the piece that you're going to perform for us today?
So I debated a lot on like, what am I going to do? What am I going to do? And I perform a lot. I perform it a lot, but I really love it. And so I'm going to perform it because I love it. And it has new meaning today, for me. So I'm going to perform it because it's old, but new. And so, yeah. All right. Okay. Lights flow. Offering up an amber aura in the living room. Letting there be lights, keeping the atmosphere appropriate for creation. Let there be lights. Wait till the night has nothing more to do. Then let you be with you and your thoughts and the couch you deem throne, that you might be properly propped for your crowning achievements. Let there be incense to offer up sensual scent and smoke to pair with elevation. It's a groove. It's a move away from the fast-paced list of things to do and places to be. It's a chance to dance your gel ink across pages that have always been your safest spaces. It's a The beat matches life song, matches the humming that happens when you take heart. The beat be breaking barriers around the brain and letting thought flow free. Mental soliloquy, it's a rhythm that rights the wrongs of the weak and puts strong hands to tense places and opens up a space for wings to grow when you're ready for them. Here, where candlelight provides enough fire to ignite an internal review on how you are. Let's you be the star of your concerns, and congratulations on sometimes being the bright of the best constellations. You be a compilation of light and love. Here you remember who you are and what this is. It's the groove. Stretch before you break into your newest move. Stretch. Growth begins with the stretching of muscle and mind. So stretch. Flexibility makes for less fear. Stretch and find yourself unfractured by the festivities, because it's the groove. It's the vibe. It's what victory feels like when you put the pieces of you back together again. And the bass from your deepest self, the bass from your deepest self booms. And the soprano of your soul breaks glass ceilings, and you find yourself. You find yourself flowing out of glasses half full into spaces once empty. Reciprocity be the rhythm. Gratitude be the groove. Life be the stage. You be the creators of the script on the page. Here you remember to act accordingly. And that's that piece. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah. I feel like a freedom song. Like that, when I tell you that right there feels like a it feels good today. It feels some kind of different today. And I did it like when I tell you, man, it hits different today.
Oh, it hits.
It hits
listen, we're not even in the same. I want people to hear this. We're not even in the same area.
Yeah.
But you got me through the damn screen. And you're seeing what I'm feeling here.
Yeah.
This is why I said she needed to be here.
Thank you.
That energy. I feel that release. I feel what you've been feeling in those words. And that's why you're a true masterpiece.
Thank
That's
you.
why you're a true masterpiece, because this right here,
Yeah.
it doesn't take adults or children. It takes real, authentic spirits to
Yeah.
keep moving.
Keep
And I'm
going.
just so, like, I'm beyond words of
Oh,
saying proud of you,
thank you. Thank
because
you.
it's just so moving about you
Yeah.
that I swear the angels just said you are going to be stamped, pressed, signed, sealed, delivered with
Listen,
all of your words.
receive it. Listen, I receive it so fully, you know. I feel like that moment right there felt like confirmation, because when you said like you this is why, because you're a masterpiece. I was talking to my son the other day, and he was like, Mommy, you know what? I'm a masterpiece. And I was like, yes, you are, baby. He was like, you know what? My teacher says I'm a masterpiece every time I do a thing. She says I'm a masterpiece when I turn in my jam board. And she says I'm a masterpiece on the Zoom. And she said, and I was like, yes, all of that. All of that. It's true. She said it because it's true. And so I think we all have, you know, masterpiece material within us, and we just got to see it. We just got to see it.
That's
You know,
true.
we got to see it, and then we got to be it. So that's where I'm at now. I'm in the being part, you know, and still trying to see, you know, like still, because as you walk more, you see more. So
You do.
keep going.
And
Yeah.
I gotta ask you this. I know I don't want to like take this away, but I gotta ask you this awesome last question.
Okay.
How do you,
Yeah.
the beautiful only Mwikali Words,
Yes.
how do you change the world
Yeah.
with artistry? Just your artistry.
Yeah.
How do you do it?
I think that talk about magic a lot. I talk about flight a lot. I talk about, you know, this idea of like love, right? Like my book Love, Discovery, Recovery, Relapse, it's this journey through like, you know, love and relationships, but it's really also just like learning yourself, learning how you respond to the world. And so I think one of the things that people need that could change the world is people need to be able to love themselves and feel free. Because you really love yourself and feel really free, and you are also at the same time aware of the need to feel and have those things while doing the least harm, right? Like while doing the least intentional harm, where it's like, I'm not seeking to get the come up at the cost of you over here. I'm not letting people take the hit for my high, right? Like I'm not letting people fall off for my elevation, but rather I'm loving me so good. I want somebody else to feel that love I feel for me. I need them to feel that for them. I want them to feel free like I feel free. And so I think that my poetry allows me a space where I speak it into existence.
Yeah.
And people hopefully fall in love maybe first for the poem, but then for the real meaning, like they start to digest that, like, oh, I can love myself. I can write in the quiet spaces. I can be free. I can forgive myself for the parts of me that weren't perfect and tried to be. I forgive myself for the times that, you know, it was messy and it wasn't everything had a good place to go. Like I forgive myself. I want people to feel better. I want people to feel better. I think it sucks to breathe and not feel alive.
Yeah.
You know, like too many of us are out here, we breathing, but like, do you feel alive though?
Yeah.
Do you feel alive, or are we living the Walking Dead out here? You know what I mean? Are we out here and really just like existing and waiting for the next thing to like, or the next thing to distract us from the pain, the next thing, or are we like, you know what, I'm gonna try, I'm going to just try to talk to myself. And if I can't do it by myself, I'm going to be okay with asking for help.
That's true.
I want to give that to the world. I want the world to be about the business of getting themselves right, because everything else is messy because we ain't right.
Yeah.
Honestly, everything that is messy, a lot of it is because we're hurting so bad, we don't feel like we have time to go help somebody else.
That's
You know,
true.
sometimes, or we're hurting so bad, we hurt somebody else when we really didn't want to, but we ain't all the way healed. So we were trying, but we end up breaking something or breaking someone in the process of trying to get what we want to get, instead of like really just saying, you know what, let me really try to do this kind. Let me try to just move with kindness, and let me just really try to be better, and let me really try to, you know, hold the spaces that consider themselves powerful, right, accountable for doing right by these beautiful living beings who are breathing intentionally and helping other people breathe better through what they do, whether that is through art, whether that is through protest, whether that is through medicine, whether that is through conversation, whether that is through communing, right? Whatever that is that you do that you're good at, your magic matters for the part of the world that needs you.
It's true.
Regardless of what you do. If you're a comedian and you can make me laugh myself into my healing, ain't that important?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, I've heard a joke that made me better. Even if it was just for a moment or a section of a moment. I needed it. You know what I mean? I've heard a song that made me like remember my wings.
Yes.
I've heard it. I've heard a poem that made me say, my God, be grateful. Be grateful. It's hard everywhere. We've gone through things, but people have been through some things. Be grateful and be kind as good as you can, because it's hard for everybody. Do something better. Without judgment, we don't have time. It's really just, there's no time. If we're judging without a space for, I'm telling you about yourself to help you get to a better place, because judgment happens, right? But judgment without the just ill intent. Like, I'm not judging you just to be, look at you. You know, like, we need more love. We just do. We just do. I promise it's better. Like, if you're doing it really, like, where it's not about what are you going to give me in exchange? What do you know? Like, I just want you to feel loved. I want you to be okay. I want you to be okay. Because I know I want to be okay. Wouldn't it be cool if you were too? Like, just that simple. Back when you were a kid, before you knew to fear other people because they were different, before you knew to stop flying, you know, like, there's a great video float, and I talked to my kids about it because I wanted them to, one of the last lessons I left them with was that, because I wanted them to remember, like, in your uniqueness, right? That is where you fly. Those spaces that people say is like, it's weird, it's strange that you're like that, it's weird that you do that. Sometimes that's where your talent exists. That's where your talent lives, and people just can't see it yet. So work on seeing it for yourself really, really well, so that by the time you get to a place where other people can see it, they understand.
Yeah.
They understand. And we seek that. We strive for understanding. We build friendships and relationships because we just want to be understood. We want somebody else to see us. We wanted somebody else to see us, like that great oh man, that great is it Etta? No, it's not Etta May. Lord Jesus, every time I do this, I forget her name. It's terrible. Help me, okay? You video. I'm gonna tell you the video, and then you can be like, okay, I know who you're talking about. Maybe I don't know. No pressure. Okay. This video is, she's like, compromise for what? Like, I just remember.
Oh, the one that be like, Frederick.
Then she's like, compromise for what? Like, I didn't compromise for what? And like, and I thought about it, and it was just like, she said, I want somebody to love me with me, you know. And we're all seeking that, you know. And I think, again, it's really just like, love yourself enough so that when somebody else is like able to appreciate you simultaneously, it feels good to be like, you're dope too, though. I like you. I like what you can do. You bring in the magic too. We're not compromising. We're just existing creatively together at the same time. And nobody got to give up anything that really, really matters to you. But be conscious, be considerate. I like to run, but I don't have to run over your toes because I run, right? You know, so that kind of thinking. Like, I like to paint, but I don't got to paint outside your house because it's not my space, right? Like, you know what I'm saying? So yeah, I seek to give people that feeling that you can be free and you can go, you can write with me and get free. That's gonna be coming out soon. Some opportunities.
Well, there we go.
So, you know, stay tuned. Stay tuned.
Exactly. You guys, it was the one and only truly Mwikali. I only say it like that because of the fact that animation feel, that anime feel, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Word. Thank you guys so much for definitely, number one, just celebrating this amazing, authentic month. I am so grateful and thankful that you have made this month the completion and made it into a new introduction to my meditation musical month. Yes, you guys. So next week we are starting off with another awesome artist, but focusing on meditation and music month. I am so grateful that you have really has set the tone for this beautiful page. I wish you nothing but beautiful, positive, and most expressive, just, you know what? I don't even have to wish you because you already make it, Grant.
No, I need it. Listen, don't take it back. I need it. I'm taking it. You know what I'm saying? Just some of my heart space. Okay.
And definitely follow my girl right here on her Instagram page. Give her some love. Give her some money. Give her some time. You know, or even if you just needed some inspiration or just needed some breath of fresh air, this girl right here is where you want to be at on your Instagram. And, you know, I'm just so honored to have you bless my page, have you really just be so insightful. And once again, it was Mwikali on my page. Love you so much. We're going to love one another. We're going to do awesome poetry with each other. But also, we are going to just stay blessed, keep on breathing, and have a lovely day tonight. You guys have a great one. Bye.
Bye.